been raining for 3 days in this garbage heap of a city, but no amount of water could clean this filthy town.
Two hardball detectives fighting the mean streets, doing whatever they need to do to bring criminals to justice.
Smooth. Today we're going to be taking Dick Tracy from the 30s and going up against Eddie Valiant in the 1940s from Roger Rabbit on Retro Dojo! This episode of Retro Dojo is brought to you by Masterminds Incorporated. You guys like that film noir intro? We're pretty epic actors in reality.
No, we're not.
But yeah, that's not true at all. We are going back to the 30s and 40s, and by 30s and 40s, I mean 80s, because we are going to be talking about Dick Tracy from the 1990 film versus Eddie Valiant from Roger Rabbit, which came out
Who framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, no question mark, even though it is a question.
Yep, and they didn't have a question mark because something to do with that's bad luck in the industry.
That's weird, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that's what I read anyway.
But when did Roger Rabbit come out? 88. Roger Rabbit came out in 88.
Yep.
So Dick Tracy came out in the 90, not 90s. Well, it did come out in the 90s, but in 1990. And then Eddie Valiant in Who Framed Roger Rabbit in 1988. And they both kind of are similar. I mean, apart from the fact that they're both kind of like that, like hard-boiled gumshoe detective.
Yeah.
He's a loose cannon cop on the edge.
About a pack of cigarettes.
Everyone in the 30s and 40s smoked.
Yes. Yes, they always smoked. And they always had the hot, beautiful lady that, worked for the mob boss. I don't know why I'm doing this,
right.
But that's what they did.
It's a sign language for a hot, beautiful lady who sings at the mob boss's club.
Yes. But yeah, they always had that, except for the only difference is Dick Tracy was a real actor, and in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it was
Eddie Valiant was animated.
What?
Bob Hoskins animated the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just super good.
Yeah, that's super good.
No, they both have animated aspects, Dick Tracy being totally live action from the character side of things, but a lot of their background plates were all matte paintings and art.
Yes.
Because Warren Beatty wanted to use... He limited production to a 7-color palette in the movie because he wanted to be like a comic strips. Because, of course, Dick Tracy was a comic book that was released... Not a comic book, a comic strip from the 30s.
Yes. Yes.
And then Warren Beatty picked up the helm, because a bunch of other people were supposed to direct it. Weren't they? Like Tim
Burton was one of
slated.
them. Yeah, but he said no because he was doing Edward Scissorhands.
Ooh, that's a good movie.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that one. Yeah.
But he did that, and then, of course, the animated aspects for Eddie Valiant in Who Framed Roger Rabbit is because Eddie Valiant is a detective that works, or used to work, in Toontown, and then doesn't
his brother was murdered by a cartoon character, and he despied all Toon characters.
I did not see that coming in Toontown.
What's that?
You having a piano dropped on your head.
Oh, yeah.
That or an anvil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
anvil,
that had to be
dynamite.
But they were both good detectives.
Yeah, they were. I tried, like, the movie part of it, and I mentioned this in a previous movie, or a previous episode. If I watch a movie, I'm not into it, I cannot watch it. I tried watching Dick Tracy again, and don't get me wrong, the actors were good, but it's just the movie itself, I just couldn't do it. I tried, and I was just like, oh my God.
I liked it, and actually, movie-wise, the movie was good. It was nominated for like 7 Academy Awards, and won 3 of them. It was scored by Danny Elfman, which, I mean, almost everybody likes anything Danny Elfman does. Yeah. Because he does most of the Tim Burton stuff. Yep. Which I wonder if he was probably pulled onto that project because he usually works with Tim Burton, and Tim Burton was supposed to do that. Yeah. Because I think Danny Elfman also did Edward Scissorhands, but the movie was good. And I think it stayed pretty true to the source material. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a little bit different because Dick Tracy is a cop. He's a straight-up detective in the police force, where Eddie Valiant is a private detective who kind of like falls to shambles after his brother gets killed. And he starts drinking.
Loses his job.
Yeah, well, he doesn't lose his job because he owns a detective agency.
I thought him and his brother were detectives together.
They were private detectives.
Oh, I thought they were actual detectives. Okay.
And they opened their own firm. It's called. That's why in the office.
Yeah.
The office door. It's Valiant and Valiant.
That's right. Yep.
Because him and his brother both do it.
That's
but then
what
he falls into drink.
That's
and,
true.
And his whole life falls apart.
Yep.
Until, of course, Roger tries to hire him when he's framed because he needs to know who framed Roger Rabbit.
Right. Without a question mark.
Which was good. No question mark.
No question.
It's a statement. Who framed Roger Rabbit? Wait, how do you say that without it being a question?
I don't think you can.
Who framed Roger Rabbit? That's still a question.
Yes.
Batman could interrogate him.
Where you go? Who framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah, I mean, and then I read one thing, multiple, and nothing against, what is it, Hoskins?
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins, nothing against you by any means, but apparently a lot of other people were asked to play Eddie Valiant.
Yep.
Before him. And,
and
most of the people that I read about were kind of mad that they didn't take it up because it ended up doing really well in the box office.
Yeah, but how do you know, really, at the end of the day?
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, at the time, that had to be like a ridiculous project to pitch to somebody.
Yeah.
We're going to animate some of your co-stars and not others. I wonder how much that played into Space Jam.
That is true, yeah, I don't know.
But really, Space Jam, most of that is animated with just Michael Jordan a lot of the time.
That's true.
So that's limited. Roger Rabbit's totally, up until the end, there's a couple of spots where they go to Toontown. Roger Rabbit is 100% live action with animated characters interacting with live action.
And it's the only movie to this day that starred Walt Disney and Warner Brothers characters together in a movie.
There was another not only, but it's similar in a way. Dick Tracy was one of the last films that contained absolutely no CGI. There's no CGI in Dick Tracy.
Really?
It's all back plates and matte painting and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was one of the last films. After that, they start doing some CGI with something.
And one of the very first films Disney did from a comic.
Yep. Yeah, before they bought Marvel.
Yep.
And then Marvel took over and did... what was it? That was Roger Rabbit. Marvel did a Roger Rabbit series. Like a limited run. I don't think it was an ongoing comic, but they did have a Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And of course there were toys and and all that stuff.
I don't know if there was. I don't think there was. They made any toys referencing the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Because I remember Dick Tracy toys. Because I remember having a Dick Tracy toy.
Yeah.
But that was the only one I had. I didn't have like any of the villains. But I remember having the Dick Tracy toy. But I don't remember ever them coming out with. Maybe they did. I don't. Obviously, that was.
Yeah. If you guys have Roger Rabbit toys,
yes, definitely.
Post them down below.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know obviously because you had the Warner Brothers, you had Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse. You had all those toys already.
That's actually one of the things that Eddie Valiant and his brother that gave them their reputation in the backstory for Eddie Valiant that him and his brother rescued Donald Duck's nephews after they were kidnapped.
Okay.
That was one of the big things that rose Valiant and Valiant to prominence.
Yeah.
And of course, at the time when you're watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, spoiler alert, you don't know that is it Judge Doom?
Judge Doom, yeah.
Yeah, Judge Doom is the guy who kills Roger Rabbit, and then that's Christopher Lloyd who ends up playing like this weird, hybrid human/toon character because he never goes he's never full animated.
Not full, yeah. He's not full. Only at the end when his eyes pop out.
Yeah.
And also, I read a thing that said that Christopher Lloyd took the job or that character so seriously in the script. Apparently, the villain, Judge Doom, never blinks. So every time he's on film, he never blinks.
Doesn't he wear super dark glasses though?
He does, but anytime they had the glasses off, he never blinked.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yep. So that's pretty interesting. Cool. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
I mean, I don't know. They're both good detectives, although it's. I feel like Eddie Valiant has a better story arc.
Yeah.
Because Dick Tracy's kind of the same. I mean, he kind of has the thing where, at least in the movie anyways, that Dick Tracy gets, he gets framed for something.
Well,
and then they're like, oh, yeah, it's not you, Dick Tracy.
Then he gets kidnapped.
But there's not a lot of character growth. Dick Tracy's pretty even across the board, where Eddie Valiant, he's doing good, brother gets killed. and then he falls into drinking, so he becomes an alcoholic. Then he has PTSD, hates tunes, and then he kind of turns his life around, and he helps Roger and makes a tune friend and finds out.
They both have the same concept of the whole that detective feel,
30s, 40s
detective feel.
Yeah, film noir.
I think the only big difference is Dick Tracy had more seriousness, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit obviously had more comedy involved because they're all tunes, of course.
They were all like that slapsticky Bugs Bunny kind of stuff. I don't know that I don't have them anymore. I used to write back in the 80s. I write the guy that drew the Dick Tracy comics.
Oh, really?
So I read the Dick Tracy comics, and he sent me like 2 or 3 of them. He would send me little sketches of the villains and would like autograph like, "Hey Chad, thanks for reading," or whatever, and autograph it. So that was really cool. And of course, I loved Roger Rabbit because that movie's funny. But But
I remember my dad used to be able to draw. I remember being a kid, and that was what got me into drawing. And my dad drew Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck perfectly from memory, and that really got me into drawing. So
Dick Tracy didn't really have any catchphrases, but everyone knows that Roger Rabbit did because we all got please, Eddie.
Oh yeah, which got super annoying after a while. Super annoying. One cool thing that I thought was really interesting was the tunnel that Eddie Valiant drives into Toontown is the same exact tunnel on Back to the Future 2.
Aw, snap.
Which I thought that was really cool.
That is kind of cool.
Which,
yeah, we'll do Back to the Future. Calm down.
But I think, me personally, my favorite, I liked both of them at the time. Again, like I said, when I tried rewatching it again, I was not really into the Dick Tracy, just because of the way the movie was. But I remember clearly as a kid loving it at the time. So, I mean, me personally, I like both of them.
I like them both, too. They're both really good in the fact that if you want something that's a little more humorous and slapsticky, you can go with Eddie Valiant, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. If you want something that's a little more serious but has kind of a lighthearted side to it, then you have Dick Tracy. Because in all intents and purposes, Dick Tracy was intended to be like kind of a grimmer, more serious film, even though it was silly because everyone's got Mumbles and Sid the Potato or whatever their weird nicknames were.
That's true. Well, you got to think about it back then.
Flat top, chompers.
Well, back then, I can't remember what
JP
the
gloves.
The comic was made in the 50s or 60s.
No, they came out in the 30s.
Was it that old? Oh, yeah, that's true. And you got to remember back then, everything was serious. It didn't really have no goofiness.
They had some silly ones.
I mean, they did have a little bit, but nothing like too goofy.
Yeah.
Everything was always serious.
Right. Yeah.
Because you got to figure around the same time you had Superman and Batman around the late 30s.
Yeah,
those were both serious characters.
Those were pretty dark, so I mean they could be. But I don't know. Who do you guys like?
Yeah, who do you like?
Are you on Dick Tracy's side, or are you more for Eddie Valiant? Or do you like a little bit of both? You're somewhere in the middle like we are. Let us know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Smash it hard. And hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we have a new video come out, which is Thursdays at 10 a.m. New video every week. Check it out. Please check us out.